5'2"?
He's 5'2". He looks like, he's shorter than me. Real jockey, right? And so all the struggling starters get on the phone with their wives and girlfriends like, I'm getting sent out. Start packing the stuff. I'm getting sent out. I'm getting sent out. Right until first pitch. He had him go down to the bullpen.
That's beautiful.
Like, kid never knew how to pitch before. He's like, go down to the bullpen, pretend like you're going to, told him in Spanish, play catch. And then they told a reliever that he was going to make a spot start. They didn't want to tell this reliever that he was starting with too much advance notice because he'd freak out and probably barf and get all nervous. That was one of the greatest pranks that I've. How about you? You got one? April Fool's joke?
No, not April Fool's, but I remember Ken Griffey Jr. hits about 500 his first spring training. And we go to Vegas, and he gets called in the office. Jim Lefevre, a couple of the other captains were in there. Jim Lefevre's the manager. Tell him he's not making the team. And, I mean, he's the best player on the squad. He's 19. He started balling. I mean, it got out of control. To the point where we're just joking. You're going. You made the club.
And then you got to walk that back, and there's damage.
It went backwards, man.
Yeah.
And he hated everybody for probably a month and a half.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah,
John Heyman, good morning. Leading the league in information. Happy April 1st. Happy April Fool's Day. This is not an April Fool's gag. We wish it was. But there is some disturbing news on the health of Jacob deGrom that you can post for us.
Yes, Jacob deGrom is undergoing an MRI right now as we speak, and the Mets have their fingers crossed. They're hopeful that he still may be able to start opening day next Thursday against the Nats. Obviously, today's start for deGrom was scratched, but, it's very concerning. He had shoulder tightness when he played catch on Thursday. He's looked great to most of us in the game so far, like himself, but the radar gun has said 97. Normally 97 is not concerning for anybody else, but, this is a guy who throws 99 to 100, so we shall see. The Mets are hopeful that it is nothing serious, but when you go for an MRI, you never know. It usually shows something. Very concerning for the Mets.
Well,
and no April Fools.
Yeah, it usually shows up in the numbers, too. I mean, obviously, the performance last year after he was, the health concerns kicked him, it was slightly different, right? I mean, still otherworldly. That's the problem. Because if you just looked at the last 8, you'd say, nothing wrong here. I mean, he's still, even when he's dinged up, he's still better than everybody else. So we hope for the Mets' sake, for Jacob's sake, that everything's going to be clean with the MRI, and maybe we'll have news for you on that before we get off the air. Let's talk about the Yankees, other side of town, as the discussion continues regarding Aaron Judge and a long-term deal. What's the latest?
Yeah, as I mentioned yesterday, they have made him an offer over the weekend. It is a big offer. Don't know the specifics. They are very serious about signing him. I mean, when they go in with these superstars who are homegrown, they are hopeful. With Derek Jeter, who's an all-time great, they knew that he wasn't going anywhere. With Robinson Cano, they drew a line 7 for $175. As it turns out, that was probably the right contract. He ended up getting $240 with the Mariners, but with Judge, they really want to keep him. Obviously, face of the franchise, all the judges out in right field. I mean, he's beloved in New York, and they are going to try hard on this one. He has set opening day as a deadline. We shall see. He's got a small agent. Not much comes out, so we don't know the reaction. The Yankees do not know the reaction. They are hopeful, but they really don't know which way this is going to go. As I said yesterday, expect it to be in the $30 million a year range. We don't have the figures for sure, but looks like he would, if he signs, he'd be the 5th highest paid outfielder by total contract behind Trout, Betts, Harper, and Stanton. Per year, he may just be behind Trout. He's going to be right there with Betts, who got about $30 million a year, and his was a very deferred contract, so it really isn't worth $30 million a year. So he's basically going to get the second best salary if he signs. We shall see. The Yankees are a little bit nervous about it.
The whole direction of the Yankee season.
He sure did, D-Row. He changes the direction of the Yankee season every year.
I think what he ends up with is a high average value with less years. The only knock you can have on Aaron, and it's not a knock for me, but it's a knock analytically, is that he's 29, or close to 30, or whatever the number might be. So that doesn't allow him to go deep into, his 40s. They're not doing those contracts anymore. So you get more. Maybe it's going to be a 5-year big deal, or you're 3 years with a lot of money, or something like that.
He's in a position to direct the narrative here because, like he's even said, once the season starts, I'm not really interested in having this talk after April 7th. So the next few days will be important there. Next few days important on the Craig Kimbrell trade market as well, John, because a lot of people feel like with 2 closers, they could deal from a surplus to address another need. I don't know where there is another need on the White Sox roster. Do you think he stays on the south side all year?
I kind of hope that he is traded. He's much better as a closer. He had a 0.5 ERA as a closer on the other side of town, the north side with the Cubs. Had a 5 ERA as a setup man. Don't know if that's the reason, but he should be closing somewhere, and there are about 15 teams who really could use him. I know the Marlins have shown interest lately. They have some injuries in the closing department. A little question about Bryce Floro, and we shall see there how that goes. But I think it's going to be difficult for the Marlins because of the $15 million salary. They'll want it paid down. And, of course, the White Sox won't want to pay that down. Possible they could work it out by sending a good prospect back. I'm with you, Matt. The White Sox are terrific. The bullpen, even without him, they signed Graveman and Kelly, adding to Crochet, potentially Kopech. They are a terrific team. The one thing I think they could use is a left-handed bat. I'm not sure the Marlins have one to trade him. So I'm not sure that's a match. I've always thought the Phillies would be the team. They did beef up their bullpen, obviously signing Knebel, Familia, Hand. But I do think that they are willing to spend. They're over the threshold at this point. And to me, that's probably the best matchup.
John Heyman with us on a Friday, less than a week before opening day. Still some unfinished business around the league, and more with John a little bit later on this program. John, thanks. Boy, the deGrom thing is discouraging, man. I mean, just when everything was going the Mets' way, so much offseason momentum, the big moves, the manager, the last thing they wanted to consider was being without him for any period of time this year.
Here's why I think Buck Showalter is the perfect guy for this. He has said and came out on record and basically told everybody in baseball, if you rush these 3 weeks, it's going to hurt you when the season starts. I don't think we see deGrom till May. Look, this is only 2 weeks of spring training. If this is a normal spring, he's 4 weeks away from his first start.
Good point.
And when you got a guy with the history of this and what he can do for them, I'm sorry, he's not. You'll get an MRI today. Hopefully it comes up clean. He's still not pitching opening day. Throw that out the window.
Yeah.
No way. I think he's targeted more for May than he is April. He's going to have a real complement of a true spring to where he feels like he is ramped up, ready to go, and healthy.
That's a good point.
That's the key.
You might not know the answer to this, but when a pitcher has an MRI on, like, say, an elbow, the whole body has to go in the tube, or can you just put the elbow in the tube?
No, you got to go every.
God,
I hate the MRI. I can't do it.
I've had one, and it was harrowing. I had to have, like, the tech talk me through it because I just flipped out. It's no good.
Hey,
it's like it's being buried alive.
I went in. The first one I did when I was getting my hip checked, I'd never had an MRI ever. And I'm sliding in, and all of a sudden, I didn't realize I was claustrophobic. And they give you that little button to push.
Oh, I'm on that
And
button.
he was like, Harold, just call me if you need me. And as soon as I was sliding in, I was like, Bob, Bob, you got to get me out of here now. Now. I mean, I freaked.
Lauren, you ever had an MRI?
One, just watch the video with the pelicans up top. It's mind over matter.
Pelicans?
I
didn't have time to see any of that.
Brain MRI. You just watch the video for about 45 minutes.
Doesn't work for me.
As soon as they put the headset on and said, what music you want, I said, I'm out.
I'm out. What do we? By the way, nice to see you.
Hi.
Lauren pulled her old. I'll come to the team building event, and she was there. I think she had like a couple of carrot sticks and a seltzer, and she was out at 7:15.
I saw Lauren like half asleep. I looked at my watch. It was 7:30, and her eyes were glazing over.
I stayed out past 8. I had a little prime rib. Then I faked like I was going to the bathroom and. That's how you do it. You can't say bye to anyone.
No,
and they're like, Lauren's leaving. Oh, Lauren's leaving.
Yeah.
No hugs. Just like no one will notice.
Fake like I was going to the bathroom.
The storm.
What do we got coming up on the show, by the way, Lauren?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Cal Ripken.
Cal Ripken live on the show.
Yes, they asked me if I wanted to ask a question. I said, no, I'm going to fumble my way through it. No, don't put me on camera.
Oh, we're putting you on camera.
I'm going to be out there.
How many
so
times have
won't be
you
able
come
to.
across Cal? A bunch by now, right?
Yeah, I actually saw him walking on the street one time.
It's a great story.
That's it?
Bye. Bye for now.
Let's take a break.
Great story.
Street.
Great
You see
story.
him walking?
Who, Cal?
Yeah.
He's like the nicest, most approachable
I
guy.
asked you, have you ever seen him walking?
No.
Okay, so then it was a good story. Bye for now.
Bye for now. Let's take a break. When we come back, the baseball assistance team has been helping members of the baseball family